evening, everybody. It's Friday night. It's kind of 9 o'clock. Welcome to the What's on Joe Mind TeamStream. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. Kind of an empty house tonight. Oh, hello. Kind of a real empty house tonight. Joe hit the wrong button. But Joe Colton is on assignment tonight. The honcho will be joining us very shortly. And joining us, finally, in the TeamStream tonight, it's Joe Slepski, ladies.
Hey!
Joe on Joe podcast.
I got momentarily disconnected. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Mike. I appreciate it.
It's no trouble, my friend. What button did you hit? What did you
Well,
do?
I hit login because I was going to try to get active in the comments, and I think I have to be logged in order to comment. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I was, so listen, you're just getting me then, Mike. You're getting my full attention.
You should be able to go in the comments. If you hit the little word balloon that says comments up in the top corner of the screen.
Yeah.
You should be able to comment from there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. No big deal. Listen, you got me live, baby.
I guess. I mean, it's one of those things. I guess you like the guy, like they said in the comments there. No, man, just wanted a bigger intro.
I did.
There you go. Mission accomplished, Joe Slepski. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it again this time, and I'll have a mask. Mission Impossible mask. It'll be a life rubber mask.
You bust it off, and it'll be
underneath Henry Golding. Hello.
And so, we're here. This is the world famous, or soon to be world famous, review episode of Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins.
You better get world famous fast.
Right.
Real fast.
Right.
Clock is ticking.
We'll go into that a little bit later on. But a couple of weeks ago, you had an interesting experience with the movie. You got to see it in one of those sneak preview shows that we talked about. You're out in La La Land. You are out under the stars.
Correct.
And you got to be in the theater for the premiere with the star of the show.
With the star of the show. That is correct. Samara Weaving was in the house.
Oh, hey.
I am a fan, but she may be only... Yeah, that's true. Henry Golding showed up, which was great. And he was super awesome. He came out during, I wouldn't call it a red carpet, but like the little intro area. They had a little green screen set up. We could all take photos. And he was mingling out there, meeting a ton of people, taking a ton of pictures, and introduced the movie. Samara Weaving did come out and say hello. I don't think she stuck around for it because we saw him afterwards, and he did a quick little meet and greet again afterwards. We never saw her again, so I'm not sure if she stuck around. But he was great. Very nice, very kind, very, very upbeat, absolutely wanted to be there, which is great.
I would hope so. I mean, he's a big break right there.
Yeah, it's a huge break for him, and for all you say about the movie, he's pretty likable in this. You don't come away from this going, I don't want to see another Henry Golding vehicle.
Yeah, no, the problems with Snake Eyes, and again, we'll talk about the movie itself in just a few minutes as Mark slowly gets himself signed into the system here. I just got a text from him, signing in now. Okay, man. All right, we'll stall for time.
Hey, Paul Sidaway, thanks for joining, man.
He's somehow doing this through the text.
Paul, you won one of my Snake Eyes contests, I believe.
And he's going to defend Samara Weaving, even though we're not.
Yeah. Oh no, I think she's great. Yeah, she's great. She should have been in the movie more. I really wish she was in the. That intro was dope. That was really great.
Yeah, I mean, she got to whip the crap out of what, half dozen guys?
Yeah.
You can't ask for a better intro than that in an action.
It was awesome. And casually walk. I mean, when was the last time you casually walked out of a airplane bathroom? Usually you're fleeing in terror from what you left behind.
Right. I mean, when's the last time I personally kicked the crap out of 6 guys in an airport bathroom? Maybe I can't talk about that.
No, I wouldn't talk about that on the live stream.
But for normal people, no, it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right, there we go. We're finally ready. Joining us now, the King of Newark.
Hey.
What's up?
The honcho.
How you doing, Joe? I'm going to say hi to Joe first.
Yeah, great. Great. Good to see you again.
I don't see you as much. Mike is old hat.
Yeah. That's all right. I know. Do you want me to leave and make another entrance just to make it special again?
No. I'm the guest. I'm the new guy. Whatever you guys want.
Sweet. I love it.
But Mark, you're on the road this week. You're in Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's lovely. We got a third floor view. It's gorgeous at night.
Any Sopranos floating around?
Here's a
Probably.
question for you, Joe.
Oh, good. I am gonna be at the Pasadena Joe show on Sunday. Look for me. I'm a guy that looks just like me, and I'm wearing a Joe on Joe face mask.
Yeah, so be sure that's Phil Donnelly is a guy who looks just like Phil Donnelly in the picture there. So be on the lookout for him. He'll probably have some kind of Disney shirt on.
It kind of looks like Biff McConkey Dog to me, but whatever.
A little bit. I've never seen the two of them in the same place at the same time.
It's a good
So
point.
there's a strong possibility that they are one and the same.
Paul, I'm glad you got your poster. Awesome. I sent out some Snake Eyes posters direct from the premiere we were talking about. They were like embossed and special edition kind of a thing.
Nice.
Toilet Teal, my wife, was smart enough on the way out to grab a stack.
Wait a minute. Your wife's name is what?
Toilet Teal. On my show, we give everyone code names, but they're not like, they're supposed to be fun code names. So hers, she's the Cobra cleaning lady. And her name is Toilet Teal with like an apostrophe eel, like Toilet Teal. It's pretty great. Mine's old style. We have fun with it. It's meant to be that. And so yeah, Toilet Teal was there and she grabbed a stack. So Paul, you have Toilet Teal to thank for that. She was smart enough to grab a bunch.
Oh my! He's calling his wife Toilet Teal, and somehow I'm the single one.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Listen, she chose it. She chose the moniker.
Dude, just like the bad boy, man.
And she said throughout the whole movie, she kept watching just to make sure the toilets were clean in the movie. She wanted to see what kind of job, what kind of cleaning job
Scarlett in the bathroom.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She fought in the bathroom. She was looking for a cameo from Toilet Teal in that scene.
Oh my God! Oh, we've gone off the rails already. So I guess nothing better to do. Let me go ahead and pull up my rundown. I don't think I've got anything else planned tonight. It's a pretty light week in the way of news. So we'll just start right off with the official What's on Joe Mind review of Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. Are you ready, Mark Weber?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple weeks to prepare.
Snake Eyes.
Are you ready, Joe Slepski?
Snake Eyes. I'm all ready. Got my Snake Eyes hand cloth.
You got your bib.
And if you don't like Snake Eyes bib, you can go for a Storm Shadow bib. Either way. And then we got these dope never to be worn in public because you'll look like a weirdo. Snake Eyes reflective visor sunglasses.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
I'd totally be down for those.
I can't see past about this far in front of my face.
That's not the glasses' fault, though.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I'm going to replace them with these so I can see what's going on.
Real deal. You don't want to... that Corey Hart business died a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I've done is I've broken down some bullet points for the movie, and we'll just we'll take them down in kind of a format. You guys are free to agree or disagree with each point, regardless of where I have them grouped. It's just a matter of making talking points so we can move things along. But we'll start off with... That's right. We'll start off with the good. The good parts of Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. And, of course, the picture there, that's Andrew Koji's action figure. And, frankly, he was the best part of this movie.
He was great.
Yeah, that depiction of Storm Shadow, maybe the best one outside of the original source material, across all the incarnations of G.I. Joe for me.
Yeah, when you're... when you're breaking down scripts and you're writing stories and you're figuring out who your protagonists are and your antagonists, the only true protagonist in this movie is Storm Shadow. And I say that including Snake Eyes. Storm Shadow is the true protagonist of this film.
Yeah. Had they just swapped out him in the title, I'd have still believed it.
Right?
Right. Well, and that's what we always go pro wrestling, sometimes earlier than later, but that's what makes the heel turn powerful, right? Because you get it. Like the best villains are the ones you understand. That's why Magneto's always my favorite, right?
Yeah.
Like when he finally had that moment when they denied him his birthright, basically,
right,
and he just snaps.
and the question would be then, when in the G.I. Joe movie universe are they going to give Storm Shadow a heel turn? Because he didn't have one in this movie. He was just the good guy.
I mean, he heel turns a bit when he walks out on the Arashikage, right? And threatens Snake Eyes. Like
Heel turns pretty fiercely when he's sitting on the plane.
Heel turn, or did he get screwed over and was rightfully like, all right, I'm out? Is that a heel turn? Because they kind of screwed him.
Well, yeah, but that's what makes him a good villain.
So then the Arashikages are jerks.
They're kind of jerks, sure,
because they screwed him over.
But I don't see him being screwed over.
What's that?
I don't see him as being screwed over. Like they lay it out pretty plainly that the Arashikage have two jobs, and one is to guard that stone, and two is to never use it themselves.
Don't use the MacGuffin. Don't use that MacGuffin.
Right.
They failed on one, which was guard the stone.
No, well, that's a Kiko. That's a Kiko's
sure,
job.
Again, not entirely his fault, and he'd have been forgiven on that.
Right.
But he failed on both when he used stone to try and kill Kenta. So that right there, you have two jobs, and you just blew both of them.
So
it sucks that he doesn't get a second chance. But all he did was
I know it's there. I
capable of leading the clan.
I know it's there. It's not told very well. It's a tell, not a show. And yes, we see him use it, but they never showed us the consequences of using it. That jumping around a little bit in the conversation here. Snake Eyes' third trial should have been a temptation to use that stone in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what it would have been. But that stone should have been his third trial. Maybe he fails it. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But that stone should have been a part of the trial so that when Storm Shadow does, fail, it means something. Because as it is, I get it. I understood. I know they said that and it made sense on paper, but it had zero emotional impact because he didn't kill the guy. The guy just finished destroying half of the whole temple, which looked really good the next day.
They didn't get the living room.
Yeah, like they didn't stick the they didn't stick the landing a lot, but like that part of it, I didn't buy it. Like they say it and I get it, but I don't know. Yeah, Snake Eyes the bad guy in his own movie.
Yeah, it does show some. It shows some short-sightedness on Storm Shadow's part to use the gem in a movie where you're not allowed to kill anyone of consequence.
Right.
Like, wasn't going to do any good, man. Like,
Right. So again, I'll give you that. Yes, the Arashikage were big jerks for taking all his birthright away from him, but he did fumble the ball on the 2-yard line there. So
true. I mean, yes, I know. On paper, he wasn't. On paper, he wasn't supposed to use it.
Yeah, they're crummy bosses, and I wouldn't want to work there either.
Yeah, but it from a film perspective, it would have been nice to see that moral lesson. We should have seen what that moral lesson meant earlier in the movie.
But to bring it
instead of 3 giant snakes,
to bring it full circle and all the way back as the good, Koji was great, and this was awesome. A really good depiction of the character.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, really, really great. Although his scar was wild. That scar was wild, man. They obviously chopped up the narrative of the scenes because that scar went like. Sometimes it looked like it was 3 years old, and sometimes it looked like he just picked at it and it was bleeding. It was out of control.
Kind of like Snake Eyes' accent. In and out like Robin of Locksley.
In reverse, but yes.
Ooh.
So also in the good category, the action was great. I remember leaning over to Racktime Rob and saying, well, they're getting started early on the butt kicking in this one when they immediately rolled into the fish boy scene that we saw in all the trailers. And just before we get into too far into the discussion, if you're watching us on Facebook tonight, please go down, give us a reaction of some kind. Thumbs up, happy face. Give us the little hug emoji if you want to. That's fine. We like that one. If you're following us on YouTube, go ahead and like the video. You guys are great about liking videos. I check I've been checking all the metrics and stuff, and apparently you guys are awesome about liking our videos. So thank you. We appreciate that. For the number of views we have, the number of likes we have is through the roof, and we have you guys to thank for it. So please, by all means, react to us. We dig it. So anyways, going back to the action, Joe shook his head yes. Mark, you shook your head no.
Joe first.
I think it was a fun action film. One of my buddies who's a little, I like action. Like I'm not a super critique on it. As far as like the difference between like U.S. action and like international action. One of my buddy who knows this a little better, his comment was that they cut away from all the hits, like just like it was edited, like so like you don't see the impact of it. And I get what he's saying there. I still enjoyed it. I thought the scene with the motorcycle should have been the most dynamic. Should have been a Fast and Furious level car scene. And I had no idea what was happening in that entire scene. There was no sense of place or awareness, who was fighting who. That was a big drop. That whole motorcycle on the cars, with the truck driver who's oblivious that people are shooting guns and fighting with swords on his semi. So yes, it was good, but I would have liked more.
Mark Webber, you shook your head no.
Well, are we going to talk about the cinematography and how it was shot later, or is this a spot to discuss that?
If you want to discuss that here, go ahead and discuss that here.
Well, I just don't know if we've got the bad category coming.
Oh, there's
I thought that might fit in there. I thought the way they set up the action scenes was outstanding, and there was plenty of action in the movie. But the way it was shot, what Joe talked about with the jump cuts, and we're getting back to pro wrestling, right? It's when they changed the camera angle to hide the non-impact in WWE or certainly in AEW. But it's a WWE thing. And the shaky camera was absolutely unforgivable. In fight scenes that lasted that long with that many jump cuts, to not have the camera stabilized is ridiculous. I mean, borderline asinine. So I would love to see those fight scenes shot in a different manner. So it's a little of both.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. I had less shakes filming footage for our throwaway video at Gem City Comic Con.
Right.
My phone than they did with professional equipment. But
go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I liked the fight scenes. Maybe I've just been watching too much. I'm too much a part of the MTV generation for it to throw me out of it enough. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I'll give him this. I thought the fight scenes were all emotionally there. Like there was, there sure. Didn't seem to be maybe any just for the sake of any. So I thought that was good. I was with them on all the fights, and that's what I did enjoy out of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah. From the shaky cam thing, when it does come out on DVD or we all see it again or can watch it over and over again, watch the scene when Scarlett has finished her fight and is walking in the airport towards the camera on the phone with Storm Shadow. That camera is all over the place for a walking scene. And I'm like,
maybe
I thought
the camera guy.
The first time I caught it, it threw me off a little bit. But the second time I was like, I'm not even going to listen to anything. I'm just going to watch this camera bounce. It was like it was on a jet ski watching Scarlett walk towards you, which is unforgivable. Like, dude.
Maybe that was one of the Cobra guys who she beat up. Maybe that was the problem there.
I guess, or a kid on a big wheel or something like.
Well, in that scene, they actually asked Toilet Teal to hold the camera that day. So
right, I assume.
Listen, she's not an expert. What can I say?
I thought it was a GoPro on a small dog's head. Like, just ridiculous. So,
Right.
anyway.
So I think, Joe, I think you locked down what I was trying to say there in your educated in film manner. I think that's what I was going for. Also in the good, the G.I. Joe supporting characters, Scarlet Baroness, Arashikage clan members, were well represented, if a little short on screen time. But we did see they felt legit.
I'd agree. I totally would agree. I didn't love the Baroness. I didn't love her portrayal, but they had her in there enough. I think it was enough of a tease to the larger picture of Cobra. We had some nice Cobra, Cobra sigil wearing dudes, hanging out with her occasionally. I thought the clan was really well represented. Yeah, I agree. More. I want more.
Mark, any thoughts there?
I totally agree with it. I think we all would have wanted more screen time, especially for Scarlet and Baroness. But they had their hero or villain moments, and by making the small amount of time they were on screen substantial to tie it into the larger universe, I think they were really valuable in the positions they had. And it was one of my favorite scenes of the movie is when Baroness realizes she's never getting that gem out of this confrontation. And she just goes, I really hate when they force the one F-bomb you're allowed to PG-13 movie in, and Bay does it all the time in the Transformers movies. Like, the script starts with, where can I get my F-bomb in? But in that moment, it was perfect. For what she says, because you get the idea that she's in the, kind of in the heat of battle, and then she's removed from it for a second, and she realizes there's zero upside to say.
Yeah,
there's no way I'm getting what I want, and there's no way I'm getting away. This is my chance to leave and have something.
And I might get shot, in an actual movie. So the fact that she was just like, you know what, I am outie. It was like the scene in Prometheus, where they go down on the planet and they're going around the alien spaceship and creepy stuff starts happening. And the geologist is like, I'll be on the ship.
Yeah.
And they go, where are you going? And he's like, geologist. If a rock shows up, you give me a call. Until then, I'll be on the ship. And I love that scene because so often characters in movies don't have that real life, that authentic bit of, I shouldn't be here. And she totally got that. It was, it felt a little bit real, and it felt very Baroness to just be like, you know what? I don't need this.
It totally felt Baroness, and I did love it. What didn't feel Baroness is earlier when she first got double crossed. I feel like our Baroness would have popped him or, made her play at that point. That was a little but I get it. Then she has to become the villain of the movie. So I understand why you do that, but
I mean,
I was a little shocked because that's the moment when our the Baroness makes her she has what she wants within 3 feet of her.
Yeah,
I'm sure that she had her double cross coming, but she just got beat to the punch by highly trained crime boss martial arts guy. So, okay, I'll give her that one. She recovered well.
Yeah.
I liked the Baroness in this. I thought it was great. It's a little different from our traditional representation. She seemed a little bit more Western European than Eastern European. She was really a villain that enjoyed being a villain. And I always dig those characters in movies.
Yeah.
I also really liked the Hardmaster.
Yeah.
Because he was the sawed-off little runt up from the playground that if he's on your team in kickball that day, he's your best friend in the world, and otherwise you hate his guts.
Yeah. And I love that they went opposite with it. Like, you fans, I wasn't expecting a young Hardmaster.
Yeah.
That was a nice little twist.
Yeah.
He's a character we've never seen young, ever. He's always old in any representation. And so, but the idea that guy obviously was a young man at some point, and I like that he was kind of the unquestioned baddest ass of the Arashikage.
And that fight And that fight, or quasi fight, the bowl scene was brilliant. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved everything. That absolutely belongs in the good column. That was great.
Yeah. Maybe the best scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And I also liked Blind Master. I thought was pretty pitch perfect.
Yeah, yes. He's fine. I don't think he was a big deal, but he was effective and helpful in every scene he was in. So cool. Fine with it.
I see in the comments we're talking about the same Baroness that got tied up on the hood of a hiss. Yeah, that's the Cobra Civil War, where she was used entirely as a MacGuffin and completely forgotten about for like 3 or 4 issues just because she's tied up, and then we get a cat fight at the end of it. That's not the best representation of the Baroness, I think, that we all agree on.
Yeah. People when comparing to the original source material,
we did that run recently on Joe and Joe, and I had forgotten about that, and that was shocking. Like she's awake and in scenes where she would be, just because she's tied up, she's still awake, and Larry gives her no dialogue. It's so wild how forgotten she is. Like they should have knocked her out something. It's wild how forgotten she is in that specific arc.
I mean, considering they were trying to sell comic books to 10 to 15-year-old boys, why they would tie the Baroness up in that position on the hood of a history,
right on the cover. I mean,
can't even imagine why they did that, right?
Yeah, right. And the cat fight was between Zorana and Lady J. Yeah, where all the guys stand around and watch. It's an awkward moment. It's an awkward moment in the history of G.I. Joe.
It has not aged well, no.
No.
But while we're talking about supporting characters, Haruka Abe's Akiko, not just a love interest, and holy crap, not dead. We'd have lost money on that one, Mark.
A lot.
I'd have lost a ton of money if I had a ton of money to bet.
In fairness,
I'd have sworn up and down Akiko was going to die in this movie.
Yeah, me too. I would have put any sum of money on that. But in fairness, I didn't know that this was a movie where you were not allowed to kill any named characters. I didn't know that. I didn't know the rules we were playing under. So,
right.
I mean, other than all the Star Trek red shirts that were left laying everywhere, it's probably the most tame and bloodless martial arts movie everywhere. And I say bloodless,
especially with all the swords.
Was there a drop?
Well, when he cut Storm Shadow's hand, that's the only blood you see. Yeah. Which I thought was pretty smart. That was pretty good. That was pretty slick of Snake Eyes. Again, being a bad guy in his own movie, but that was still pretty slick.
Right. Yeah. I gained a lot more respect for him as a manipulator.
Yeah.
When he pulled that off on old Storm Shadow.
For sure. Yeah. I actually liked Akiko a lot. I thought she was great. I don't understand why they don't just make her Jinx. I mean, because if you want to, we're going to introduce Jinx later. Why? It's the same role, same character. She's not a love interest for Tommy. Like so making her his cousin works. So why not just make her Jinx?
Still our book right here. If they make a sequel, Akiko bites at 5 minutes. There's our guy.
That all depends on her career post Snake Eyes. If she has a good movie career, if she does good movies, then yes, she'll die early. Just like the woman who was in the first Godzilla movie, and then she did the Fishman, Making Love to a Fishman movie. The Guillermo del Toro Fishman movie. Uh-huh. She was the star of that, won an Oscar, and then they bring her back for Godzilla, and she dies in the first 20 minutes because she's not sticking around for Godzilla 3. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, so it all depends on her career.
Mike makes a good point though. If Storm Shadow kills Akiko in a potential sequel, which is making me laugh right now, maybe that's the actual wedge, right? Because right now Snake Eyes thinks he can be redeemed,
right?
So you need something to prove that he can't if you're going to keep him villain.
And I'll go back to this, but redeemed from what? He didn't do anything to have to redeem himself. That's what bothers me. Like, I get it. He broke the rule.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't.
Breaking the rule is different than doing evil.
Right.
You're right. That's my point. That's my point, and that's why I say I don't really look at that as a heel turn. He did break that rule, and then they were like, "All right, well now your whole life, all your whole hopes and dreams are dashed." So are we shocked that he left?
I mean, no.
Joe, would it complete the heel turn for you if he joined a global terrorist network at the end of the movie?
It depends what he did with him.
Well, I guess that's TBD, right? But
I mean, any port in a storm. He just got rejected by the people that he gave his whole life to. I don't know. Sorry, I hate to harp back on that. Matt's totally right. Matt's totally right. Snake Eyes is the one that had to be redeemed. Which brings me whatever, and I know I'm jumping around. Whatever Hollywood politics are behind not scarring Snake Eyes. You know how you redeem him in this movie? He takes a blast of that rock to the face, and it makes him Snake Eyes, and that's his physical sacrifice to save the clan. Somehow he jumps in the way of saving somebody or something or other. And he gets the rock in the face. That rock blows him up. Boom. He sacrificed himself. Now he's back in the good graces. He sacrificed nothing to get back in the good graces of the clan. Nothing.
Well, he never gotten back in the good graces of the clan. They told him if they saw him again, they'd kill him.
They didn't say that. Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow said that. And they gave him a hyper ninja outfit.
Well,
and a bike.
No, Soft Master Granny did say that to him.
She didn't say we'd kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Am I high? Did I miss? I saw it twice.
I think
it's kind of a throw, but it's in there.
I think it's right before the Storm Shadow news.
Storm Shadow says, I'm going to take your life. Storm Shadow threatens to kill him.
No, she's got a line where she says, your actions have saved your life, but you're not part of this clan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, no, I get. Okay. But then here's our super ninja outfit.
Maybe she doesn't threaten his life, Mike. Do you remember that specific?
If he betrayed them again. Matt's right. If he betrayed them again, which is like, oh, you kicked me in the balls twice. You kick me in the balls one more time, I'm going to be really pissed off at you.
And it's on.
Like.
But I could also, like, him and Snake Eyes and Akiko got along, so I could see her sneaking him some gear.
Sneaking him? They walked out the front door.
Whatever. Look,
you know what I'm saying? He didn't. That movie.
The loose ends were not strong. No.
Yeah, if he betrayed, right, Philip's right. If he betrays them again, okay, well, okay. If you cheat on me one more time, I'm going to ask for a divorce.
It's good.
But yeah,
it's good to know that the most feared ninja clan ever has a 3-strike policy on betrayal. Right? Now listen, we mean it this time, man.
Yeah.
But,
stop doing that.
Our next point here: Kenta was a quality non-Cobra villain.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
I liked Kenta.
Yeah. Didn't he kick Storm Shadow's ass twice in fair fights?
Yeah. Legitimate, badass and great conniver. Just a nice world expander because everything doesn't have to be Cobra. Yeah,
and I thought they did a really good job of making us understand his deal, his motivations, kind of the stuff he was up to without us spending 10 minutes living in it. When he showed up, the right people said the right things. We got the right sense of control and here and there, you know what I mean? And you get this feeling of what this guy's up to, and yeah, it was great.
I liked it when he whipped Storm Shadow's ass for the second time. And there's that scene of him kneeling on the rooftop screaming in frustration. And I looked at that and I'm like, that must be what the Minnesota Twins feel like in the playoffs.
Right. Or the Vikings.
And just like, I can't beat this guy.
But we've also got I found the origin to be clever, determined a way for Snake Eyes to be nameless and proverbially faceless without physically scarring him. Again, if you're going to work around that because you've got the very attractive Henry Golding as your lead.
Handsome. He's a good-looking man. A good-looking man.
But to have him officially faceless and nameless, I thought that was as good an origin story for Snake Eyes pre-Ninja Clan as you were going to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a major sticking point in the fandom, I think, was handled pretty well.
I thought it was a good way. I thought it was a good way to keep him mysterious without always searching for his mystery. So you both know his mystery, and you know that there's nothing to know. You know, so you're not. It's not like Wolverine. Remember in the years before they gave us all of his 2 decades of origin stories when he just didn't know what it was. There was always this lingering. He could be this. He could be that. It could be this. Could be that. This kind of goes. Nope. He was this, but at the same time, he's nobody.
Right.
So he's only Snake Eyes. I thought that was great.
Yeah, if you were going to work around it, I thought that was a pretty clever way to do it.
Yeah.
And a way to tie him to the Joe team so it doesn't seem totally out of left field that he's like, I guess I'll throw in with these guys.
Yeah.
The idea that was what his dad did, and his dad was obviously very important to him since they never mention a mom, and he's out for revenge for 20 years. So, okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
His mom was just at the Kroger.
Probably.
Yeah, and she didn't get a ride back.
She went out for smokes all those years ago. But
Matt, you're right. He did. He got the he didn't get it on an LRP mission. He got it on an early GI Joe training mission. So he does get scarred up later in his story. It is scarred up as he's a Joe.
Yeah, he is a Joe first and scarred second in the comic book.
Right.
So we've covered the good, which means we also have to.
It's like an episode of Facts of Life around here.
That's right. Look at the bad.
Can I be Blair?
You can. I call
Oh! All right. I'll be Joe Polnicek.
Right.
Suffer him.
Joe on Joe.
Garrett? I guess you
No, man. Joe, see, what if we were smart, one of us would have been, God damn it. I am blanking on names today. The handsome Motions 11 guy.
George Clooney.
George Clooney. One of us would have been George Clooney.
We're all too self-aware for that.
We're quick to claim Mrs. G.
I mean, Charlotte Ray was the heart of that show.
Charlotte Ray was amazing.
Joe!
When they opened that bakery, it was great.
We've got the picture of Henry Golding there, and unfortunately, a lot of the bad parts of this movie revolve around the title character.
Yeah.
First part, Snake Eyes didn't look the part until the very end of the movie. Now, I'm not saying that Snake Eyes had to look exactly like Snake Eyes the entire part of the movie. I understand why he didn't, but man, it's a movie that called Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, and he looked like Snake Eyes for 10 seconds.
Yep. And
he can't give him that mask for Act 2 when they're fighting on the rooftops.
And that mask may look good in still photos, but if you look closely, that mask, that was the old Captain America trick where they gave him the motorcycle helmet in the old Captain America TV shows.
Oh, wow.
That was a motorcycle helmet. That wasn't a if he were to fight, wear that helmet throughout, what I'm saying is, I don't even think they did spend a lot of time designing it well. If he had been in scenes with that giant helmet on, it would have looked ridiculous.
Just gone to kick somebody and just fell over.
Yeah, it was a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, it just, again, more work needed to be done. He needed to be better costuming for Snake. Once you've determined that he was a big deal and he was special, he needed to look different than the rest of the ninjas hanging around that compound.
But Philip, the motorcycle helmet was tighter. It was just tighter. It worked in that movie. It was smaller on his head. In this one, it just was big. It's fine because he's only on a motorcycle and he drives away. But yeah, the whole third act, he should have been in that outfit.
Well, and even if you're going to save it for the very end, almost an Easter egg, give us some gravitas. Show me
how. Listen, I don't.
Maybe he's.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, Mark. But Snake Eyes is so. I've said this on there's 4 things to Snake Eyes. He's a commando. He's a ninja. He looks dope in that suit, and he's all physically damaged. They only gave us ninja. They couldn't even give us the suit. He did not look like Snake Eyes.
I would argue the 5th thing, and maybe not the most, but also critically important to him, and I think we'll get to this maybe here, he's also the moral center of the
Yes.
hero.
Oh, we're getting it.
Yeah, he's very
Okay.
he's very self-sacrificing. He's
Yeah.
very like he loses that fight to give Storm Shadow honor, that whole thing. You're 100% right. And they don't he doesn't even look like Snake Eyes. How do you take the dopest costume that of any toy ever? The greatest and I'm talking all the iterations. Any iteration that they pulled from would have been amazing. And you choose not to use it?
Well, and
You're a moron. Whoever made that
gonna,
choice is an idiot.
Even if you're going to wait till the very end to finally show the full suit, if you're going to do it, I need a Tony Stark putting on the armor moment, right? Like I need the gloves coming on, and
like
the sword going in, and the gauntlets getting buckled, and then the helmet comes on.
Mission prep,
right. If you're gonna wait till the end, you gotta give me the knighting moment almost, right?
They even built in the visor is all techno, so it could go up and down. So if it can go up or down, then have him fighting it, and then have it go up when he has to deliver a line and be like, "You're never Kento, I'm gonna get you." Blah blah blah. You know, I don't. Man, whoever. Honestly, I hope someone's watching it because it is stupid. It is a dumb idea, and I don't care how handsome he is and how much you need to show your leading man's face. If you don't want to scar it up, at least put the mask on. That's the character. When Hugo Weaving played V for Vendetta, he wore the V mask the whole movie. Carl Urban wore the Dread mask. Right. This movie was written for, filmed, and everything for the year like 2006. Like this was. I mean, it's Wolverine Origins meets Batman Begins.
Yeah,
and it's 15 years later. We're 15 years past that. We've had a whole all these Marvel movies where the actors subsume themselves and they wear masks and they, you know.
And I'll give it, okay, maybe he's not wearing the mask all the time. Like if he's just hanging around the compound, his mask is off. But if he's in action, that mask needs to be on.
Yeah.
And he needs to have it a lot sooner.
And in the last act, like, just, what are we doing? It's a Snake Eyes movie.
It's a stunt guy going out and kicking ass anyway.
Right. It's Snake Eyes.
Joe, I was glad you brought that up because I thought a lot about Wolverine Origins because there's a lot of similarity between the two where you took an absolutely pristine, brilliant comic book story and pulled like 3 or 4 elements out, preserved like 3 or 4 elements out of it, but when we could do better. Like, ugh.
Right,
so it's just disappointing.
Master Ninja training is apparently really quick.
I've seen the movie twice, so I think I'm halfway to being a Master Ninja.
Yes.
Right? Maybe Ray trained him to be a Jedi in like 3 off-screen shots. You know, it doesn't take that long.
No, it's not a big deal. He shows up. A couple days later, they give him the tests. Like those other guys who were there training have to be sitting there going, "Yeah, I'm going to ruin these tests myself. Screw this guy." Right.
Yeah,
he's showed up. He's getting the big piece of shrimp roll. He gets to sit at the head table. He gets to talk to the boss. I've been here for 5 years. They haven't even let me take my mask off yet. Anyway.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. The best part of every military movie is the training camp, right? Like stripes, full metal jacket.
Be a montage. Has to be.
Oh, Captain America: The First Avenger. You know, when Cap's scrawny and training and stuff. That whole sequence. Now his 3 tests are, the second test was terrible, and third test, okay, 1 test was good, but
first test.
Yeah, the first test. And then, he's running with the guys, and he's falling. It's just waste. It's just a waste. No montage.
In the original story, and they're headed to a different fracture with Storm Shadow, but the way they told it, that he was almost, unbelievably good at this stuff from jump. Like they even referenced it, and that's part of the sting of them giving leadership to Snake Eyes over Storm Shadow in the comic. Is that he's a gaijin. He hasn't even been here that long. But the frustration that Storm Shadow has trained since birth and Snake Eyes has surpassed him in skill in almost every level other than the bow is a massive frustration for Storm Shadow. And they could have played into that if they've devoted any lines to it. Even like the Hardmaster, who's supposed to be, unrelenting and would never give praise. They could even do a bit with him where they're like, "What do you think, Hardmaster?" And he's like, "It's impressive."
Oh yeah, not since Tommy trained here.
Right.
You just did a better job than Tommy did.
Yeah. Like it would not have taken much. They even could have done it at the dinner scene, right?
Yeah. And
where they made a joke of the Hardmaster being nearsighted.
Right.
Right.
And in the comic, and the comic comes to that. That dinner scene was pretty fun. The comic book takes someone who has been through multiple tours of Vietnam and is a commando, like he's a trained soldier, and you can understand that might translate into these other skills. Mm-hmm. Now, I guess you could say maybe he did, maybe Snake Eyes ran with some other paramilitary groups around the world as he was in cage fighting, right? But
he beat the mess out of Mojo Rawley.
Yeah, like there's it's not like what they give us doesn't show us that he has any military training. It doesn't show us that he's just can take a punch and he learned how to street fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a talented fighter. But
talented,
but skill are different.
Yeah, and in the comic, it's a discipline. There's a discipline there to the military regimen, so that when you slot that into the ninja clan, you can see, oh, I get it. That guy can just take this. He can be disciplined and he can learn all this stuff. And I never thought that he was with them for a weekend in the comic book. I always thought he was there for a while.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like he was there to heal emotionally as much as to learn physically. This was a really, really good weekend for him in Japan.
Ninja Reserve. One weekend a month, 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we know because he keeps stealing the motorcycle every night and going out. Like it's kind of tracked by how often he steals the bike.
And you could have written it in and referenced it kind of obliquely for somebody to just say, it's obvious you've had military training. And have him just say, maybe you're here and there.
Overseas, it would have to be overseas. It couldn't be U.S. military because he's faceless and nameless and stuff. But that's fine. He could be like, I ran with the. And then you get something where maybe he crossed paths with like some dreadnoks, so you can do more world building. Not that you have to mention but you sow a seed of he worked with some military units overseas. Therefore, in future movies, he could run into somebody that he might have crossed paths with. They could still do stuff but
you could play it coy because that's kind of how they wrote his character, to have somebody say, pretty sure you've had some military training, and he could just say, nothing I'll admit to. Right. Like, and now you've dropped the seed that, okay, this guy has been trained, but
yes,
they didn't even bother. They just hand waved it away.
Yeah.
Big snakes seem a little on the nose. Just a little on the nose. A little, nothing like having your third big ninja training test be getting judged by South American mutant anacondas.
I mean, if the clan name means Storm Shadow, or storms at least, right? So wouldn't the clan trial shouldn't that have something to do with, I don't know, weather, storms, or lightning, or what I mean? Why would it has no meaning? There's no reason to have them own giant mutant snakes.
Yeah, it was really something, like Rob says it here in the comments, but we looked at
Cobra Law
when the movie was. Big snakes threw me out of the movie. They sure did. We looked at one another when that came up.
Yeah,
and it was like, what happened here? Like I was
stupid.
I was even willing to take the second test, which is the blind master slipping Snake Eyes LSD.
Yeah,
goes on his spirit trip. I'm like, whatever, fine. He's supposed to be the mystic. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Empire Strikes Back.
The giant snakes. Just what happened there?
It's got no tie to the actual clan.
Yeah,
it makes no sense for that to be a clan ritual.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't care. They don't care. This guy calls it. It's the same guy who screenplayed this executive who saw the Enemy Mine screenplay and needed a mine at the end of the movie.
So to be clear, to join the Arasakage clan, you have to submit your ego, right?
Yeah.
That's test one. Test two, I don't know, just
Drop acid.
follow the vision,
Drop acid.
right?
Drop acid. Yeah.
And test three, be a good enough person that the snakes don't eat you, right?
Yes. Yes.
So to join the Arashikage, you need no martial arts training whatsoever. None.
Nope. Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't know how they kept the peace for the last 500 years with just a bunch of nice low ego guys hanging around.
Well, they just trick people to fall into the snake pit, and that's the end of it.
Right.
Apparently.
Right.
Because those snakes were well fed, clearly.
And really, like, I mean, I get the point. You have to be pure of heart and honest and stuff. But like, you know, what if like, does everyone who fail that test, like, it's either you fail it or you die, right?
Yeah.
So all those other ninjas that were running with Snake Eyes,
I guess they weren't.
Did they all do the same test, or do they? You know what I mean? Like, it's a high mortality rate. What's the upside?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I guess nobody survives.
You know what I mean?
Nobody.
Not everybody's. Yeah, not everybody's perfect. So I cheated on my taxes. All right, you know. I stole an extra rice bowl. Oh, don't eat me.
You know, the snakes they can judge that light shade of gray, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess nobody survives to get out and tell everybody how easy the quests are, right?
You don't have to pick anybody.
Huh. It's like the 3 questions in the Bridge of Death. It's not that hard, actually.
It's like the unseen masters in the clan were like the Fat Master, the TV Master, the Stair Master,
the super thoughtful master,
right,
who remembers everybody's birthday.
Hallmark card master.
The pensive master is just always on the cusp of telling you the right thing.
The hug master.
The scout master.
So Snake
always prepared.
Next point, Snake Eyes only joined the good guys when he learned he'd been had.
Right. Yeah.
There's one for you. The Viewmaster.
The Viewmaster. That's great. That's great. Yeah.
But yeah, Snake Eyes was pretty well a bastard the length of the movie.
The Viewmaster will just tell. The Viewmaster can tell you everything about your life, but only in very small snippets. Yet it's in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know who hates the Viewmaster? The Blind Master.
Right? So true.
Yeah.
They're eternal nemesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And that is the only reason he joined the good guys. And that's another problem with this movie. Like, he joined them because he got suckered, and then he doesn't, I don't know.
He makes a bad train go even longer because he gets the guy who killed his father, who's an international criminal, right? Who's responsible for many deaths over many years all around the world, and he just frees him.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you couldn't even call Interpol on him there. Come on, pal.
Yeah, that guy's free to go do bad stuff. Yeah. Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
I mean, just to throw an extra compounded bad decision on top of the multitude of bad decisions that Snake Eyes makes in this movie.
It's cliched, but it's cliche for a reason. The whole, when you go for revenge, dig 2 graves, right? None of that is played up in this movie.
No.
Snake Eyes so Storm Shadow dedicated his life to a higher ideal and gets screwed in the end. Snake Eyes throws his life away in revenge. And then is great, I got a dope suit.
Yeah, like the face turn needed to happen a little bit sooner. Like, okay, there's that part in the middle where he goes and meets Kenta, right? Like, that's where the good guy started to need to come out.
Yeah.
And that's where I thought it was going to start to happen. But then he just kept doing bad guy stuff. It just, like, the first half of this movie played out a lot better than the second half of this movie.
Yeah,
that one point, that the fact that it should have been a turning point and wasn't, is where a lot of it hinges.
I was surprised when I wasn't expecting it when he first meets Kenta again, and I mean, I know we saw that he had arranged for him, and I was a little confused. That was a quick, abandoning this guy who was going to help you out, but they don't waste time on that. They get right to it and shoot. Oh, he's working. I was like, that's great. So you got to work really hard to redeem him in the eyes of the good guys in this movie, which is the Arashikage clan. And yeah, I get you. They gone with the revenge is the way to go. I get it, but he lets the guy go. Like,
yeah, Scott
you lock him up. You knock him out. You give me an insert of him handing him over to the police or
if he just
something.
If he walks away and you see him hopping on his bike and go in the opposite direction when the police are pulling up, okay.
Yeah. That's totally it. That's totally it. It's not that we needed to see him kill him in cold blood, but it's still a bad dude who did kill his dad.
And many other dads.
Yeah.
And moms and everybody else.
The guy actually says that. Like, you're going to have to be more specific. Like, I tell people all the time.
Right. Exactly. It's kind of that criticism from Man of Steel when they didn't. No one thought to show, give us 3 insert shots of Henry Cavill saving bystanders in Metropolis. Just give us a couple shots of that so that in our head we go, oh yeah, and he was saving people too the whole time. Like you don't show us, it's that's what I'm saying. You'd hear me.
And it becomes a bigger deal once Snake Eyes is voiceless and masked and scarred. So voiceless and faceless. But it occurred to me after watching it, really the second time, when I was thinking about it, that the reason it's important that Snake Eyes is the moral center of the heroes or the Joe team or the Raskagi or whatever, because you can't see his face. He doesn't show emotion. He can't explain his motivations.
Yeah.
And yet he is weapon number 1 in this universe. So you connect with him and you trust him. Because of his unimpeachable moral center, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be Cap, right?
He's the embodiment of actions speak louder than words.
Right. And he has to be Luke, and he's more Han Solo or even worse, right?
He's more Lando. He's actually more Lando.
Yeah.
He really is Lando.
That's a better one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just the core misunderstanding of the character is what dooms this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree.
The rest of it I can deal with. I can deal with the snakes. I can deal with the MacGuffin. I can deal with every bit of it. But with Golding, like, there's nothing wrong with it being Henry Golding, accent coming and going aside. There's nothing wrong with the racial change because he was still an outsider.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's the important part.
They were smart enough.
There's nothing wrong with not scarring him or taking his voice in this movie. Nothing wrong with that. But to get what drives the character that wrong, that's the fail.
Yeah, I agree with almost everything you said. I love that they had him learning Japanese to drive home that he's an outsider. That was great. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. I do. If they got some balls on them, if they thought they were going to do multiple Snake Eyes movies, I guess is where I'm coming from. So if you don't end the only Snake Eyes movie you're realistically going to make with him being jacked up, that's a huge fail for me. And I get it. And I know in the canon it happens later with the team and stuff. But you end a movie with the word origins in the title, and you barely have you have a guy called Snake Eyes. And his face and all that is so key to who he is. I think that's a huge fail.
I think they thought they could save it, and that the Storm Shadow turn was the big moment they needed. But
only works for Storm. Like that Storm Shadow turn just didn't have enough to do with Snake Eyes, really.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he wants revenge on Snake Eyes is secondary to him being expelled from the clan.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even if you wrote it the same way and had Storm Shadow march out and Snake Eyes try to stop him, like run up and grab his arm, and we get the whisper of a fight scene, right? Like just a little bit, just a Boston Robbins taste scoop of Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow. Even that would be better than what we got.
Right. Or if you, you're committed to that, heel turn for Storm Shadow and the way they do it. Maybe when he uses the rock, maybe he misfires and kills his grandma.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Dark.
Dark, but
would get the job done.
It hews closer to what we want. It also gives you a real physical consequence to a mistake that he made by mistakenly using the rock. It caused the death of someone very important to him.
Right.
Or obviously the Hardmaster, but that guy, that's the guy from the raid. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But like, you could have had that. You could have had a whole death scene. The grandma's accidentally dead, and then that's why he flees.
Right. Or you could, if you wanted to do that but water it down, have him fire at Kenta with a Kiko in the way or close enough to be in danger.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Snake Eyes pulls her out of the line of fire.
Yeah. Well, and then you go back to
rewrite a kill for a Kiko. Look at that.
And then you go back to that's when Snake Eyes' face should have got checked up.
Right.
There should have been and it should, and then it's all tied in, and because it's all connected, his damage and Storm Shadow, and that's how easy is that for people to get, the non G.I. Joe fans for people to get of, oh, he screwed up his face and so they hate each other, and all that, but they were brothers and so they love each other. That's so easy to get
actually,
across.
Now that I think about it, as I'm story writing on the fly, have him shoot at Snake Eyes, or Snake Eyes is in the line of fire and a Kiko saves him.
Sure, yeah, it hits the rock and the rock blows up and something. Something like they have the pieces there. They just weren't. They didn't have the courage to do it.
They didn't connect any of them together.
Yeah, they just didn't have the courage to do it.
Next point there is Snake Eyes wasn't held nearly accountable enough for what he did. But let's remind everybody.
I feel like we've covered this.
Yeah, Snake Eyes steals that stone and gives it away to Cobra, who then gives Kenta. Like dozens of Arashikage agents die. Right?
Yeah. Dozens.
Millions upon millions of dollars of property damage.
Well, some of that was repaired pretty quick from the following scenes. It looked pretty good.
Again, they purposely led Kenta away from the TV lounge.
Yeah. That's our rec room, man. That's our rec room.
That's why they make the doors out of rice. That's why the doors were made out of rice paper, right?
Yeah.
Fix it fast, just whoop.
Totally. But yeah, C.S. Sherman, you're totally right. You're absolutely right with that. Multiple clan members died. All of it. It's all of it.
I mean, Snake Eyes at the end of this movie gets a cool suit. He gets Scarlett's cell phone number. He gets his dad's job. I mean, damn, Snake Eyes.
He's falling up.
I mean, seriously, it's a serious fall upward. You think he's coaching college basketball here.
Right. Got the bike. Got to keep the sword.
All of it.
Yeah,
all of it. It's wild. It is wild.
I really think that there was an attempt. There should have been one extra scene there. And Joe Colton was the character that was mentioned as Scarlett's commanding officer. And there needed to be a scene with him on some communicator screen just saying, look, we're responsible for you and we're taking responsibility for your mistakes. You're going to join us and work those off.
Yes, that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
You're one of ours and you're our responsibility. You're not on the team, but you belong to the team.
Yeah.
From the G.I. Joe rookie.
And that gives them
those lines.
Yeah, it gives them like an indentured servitude kind of thing.
Yeah,
going forward,
it's like you're too dangerous for us to leave you alone, so we have to take you on.
Yep.
These people vouch for we trust Scarlett, we trust Akiko, and that's the only reason why you're not going to jail.
Yep.
Mercer.
Totally right. Totally right.
So I think they had a chance even to redeem it there, and they didn't take that. They just, Scarlett's just like, hey, we'll talk him up a little bit. We'll give him a 5-minute coach up like he's a little league kid who struck out. Oh, God. Oh, it hurt. That last scene hurt. It hurt.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
William J. asked, why Colton and not Hawk? I don't know. I didn't write the thing, and I wouldn't take credit for it if I did.
Also, I feel like, I don't know. I'm certainly not enmeshed in military protocol, but I feel like it's General Colton leads the team, not General wink wink Joe Colton leads the team. That felt weird.
Yeah.
That felt like a weird name check just to just say Colton. General Colton. We'll get it. We'll get it. We get it. I don't know. That was a nitpick, but threw me both times. Both times I saw it, that threw me. I'm like,
by that point, there's enough stuff going wrong that clunky dialogue just wasn't
Yeah.
taking my reign.
That's probably what his parents call him when he's in trouble. General Joe Colton.
Yeah. And you know what? I think Matt's right. It does make sense that it's Joe Colton, because then he's the older generation that would have worked with Snake's dad.
And you got
that does make sense.
You got to quit making references to comments I can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Sorry. Throwing shout out to Matt Rubin. That does make sense though.
Matt Rubin's quality people.
You know, Short Fuse said you were okay in our book. Sorry.
Short Fuse doesn't say anything.
How great would that have been? Just a random reference to Short Fuse Breakers app.
Would have been fantastic. You know, the Arashikage ninjas, they're really hopelessly outnumbered at the end. Too bad nobody belongs to a team of counter-terrorists agents that could call for support and backup. Because, you know, we wouldn't want to see anybody like Bazooka or Footloose or Short Fuse, whoever, just show up randomly and make this a honest-to-God G.I. Joe movie.
I like it when Scarlett says, I'll get there as fast as I can, you know, flying coach. Right. Good thing you don't have any other options there, Darla.
It's just as quickly as Delta can make it happen.
Right? Hang on, my flight's been delayed.
This is your Captain Slipstream speaking. How great would it have been in the final Ninja Massacre when just random off-screen ADR voices would have been like, Budo, no! Bushido!
Here's a comment. The switch from grounded to mystical didn't help the film.
No.
I disagree. I don't think it mattered that much. I think if most of the world is used to a Sunbow representation of G.I. Joe, so a scientific MacGuffin versus magical MacGuffin doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me.
Yeah, I was okay with that. I was cool with that. It felt kind of Operation Dragonfire kind of thing. Yeah, and it introduces the idea of, like, in future movies for these bigger, crazier ideas. I was actually okay with it.
But next bad point was not enough G.I. Joe, and I just turned that into a joke a second ago. And so that brings us to the final word.
You should have worn shoes.
Joe Slepski, if we're going to give this a school-style letter grade, because school starts for a lot of people next week, what would you give it?
I'd give it a C.
A C from Joe Slepski.
C.
Give us the 2-sentence explanation as to why a C.
You absolutely lose 1 grade because you do not end up with snake eyes by the end of the movie. And you absolutely lose another grade because of all the stupid reasons, snakes and bad MacGuffins and making Snake Eyes the villain in his own movie. That lops a grade off. And it's a bad vehicle to launch a universe. Yeah. Nothing. You don't come out of this wanting more G.I. Joe at all.
No.
So that gives you a C.
And we're a crowd that deliberately went in. Just if nothing else, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Mark Weber, same question. For giving it a grade.
I didn't think I'd be the softest grader. C+, right? I think it did a lot of things right, and I don't want to gloss over the things it did right. The representation of Baroness, the introduction of Cobra, that Akiko was a lot deeper, a character than we expected. The Storm Shadow performance. So much of it was actually quite good, but you actually misunderstood completely the core character. And it's not because of changing the race. It's not because you didn't scar him or mute him in this film. You actually completely misunderstood what drives him or thought it wasn't important enough to preserve. And that
his actions spoke louder than his words.
Yeah, and that cripples. It doesn't matter if they get it right. It doesn't matter if the next movie does the helicopter scene with him and Scarlett, and he loses his voice and his face, and now we're back on track for the old school folks. Doesn't matter, because you've shown us that throughout almost all of this movie, he is a revenge obsessed, manipulative jewel thief. And That can be a lot of people. It can't be Snake Eyes. And that's what dooms this movie. And on some level, this is going back to my Hasbro time, Paramount, the idea was to launch a universe of Hasbro movies through Paramount based on their owned boys franchises. So, but Paramount would only start with G.I. Joe because it was the only one with previous theatrical success, depending on how you wanted to find that. But they had to start with G.I. Joe before they would entertain Micronauts or ROM or Mask. And you think they're going for those franchises now?
Oh,
after what they've seen from the returns on Snake Eyes?
I mean, you're not doing Micronauts or Mask regardless, because if you're trying to build a franchise, there's you might as well just go for something completely new at that point and leave Hasbro out of it. Because there's like nothing's been done with Mask in 35 years. Nothing's been done with Micronauts in 40 years. Who cares?
Other than them hiring and paying for 15 writers to sit in a writer's room and go, like they were getting work on a Mask script when I was there. So they were at least putting money towards it. I don't know if it went any further than that, but I mean, the plan was that the third Joe movie, which was not Snake Eyes Origins when I was around it, was the tip of the spear. And wow, not anymore.
I am actually the soft grader. I went B-. That was as low as I could go with the stuff that I did like in this movie. With, as you guys said, just missing the main character the way that they did. I liked most of the non-Snake Eyes stuff in this movie. I really did. We didn't talk about it, but except for the big snakes. I'm not a fan of the big snakes. But take the big snakes out, and I'm okay with the rest of it. And it just all hinged on writing the Snake Eyes character well. And after Act 1, they didn't do that at all. Yeah. And so it's really tough for me to go lower than that. But at the same time, I feel like I'm being the softballer on that. I think the cast was great. I think Henry Golding was pretty good. They didn't give him a whole lot to work with. They just kind of said, "Here's your lines. Go emote something."
So
and he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just saying. Oh, we're all over each other.
Oh,
and they told him to be British in every other line. It'll be cool.
So Toilet Teal, my wife Rebecca, she knows who this stuff is, but she doesn't really care or whatever. But she does like Henry Golding, and she actually came away from it going, like, is he supposed to be a badass? Because he's so charming in it that as a complete outsider, her read on it was that guy's not a badass at all. He's a charming dude and very likable. And that's not the Snake Eyes that I think. That's not Snake Eyes. He's a nice guy, but he's a badass.
Yeah, like there's a genuine likability to Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
He's reliable and dependable and generally good-natured.
Yes. But not charming.
Yeah, that's not what this guy has going for it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Snake Eyes that we're used to kind of has an earthiness to him. Even the
and
old
a grim
show. Like those guys, they'd be talking to this guy who wasn't going to talk back. But like the dialogue they wrote for him on the kids show.
Yeah, and even let's look at how the scant times we've seen him portrayed in Vietnam. He was quiet. He kept to himself. Mm-hmm. He was solid, and you trust him and you believe in him and all that stuff. But he was a grounded dude. He was very and that's not what they're
not what we got
here.
at all.
Yeah.
And again, nothing to do with race. Nothing to do.
Hey,
with,
Diana.
Nothing to do with.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Nothing like that. They just missed on the character.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And for the Golding casting, it just feels like they sent this out in Hollywood and they gave it to the best name who said yes, right? And then they went, well, we'll make him charming because Golding's very talented.
He is.
They let him down.
Not the right guy here, right? And
I don't even know if he's the right guy. That's how bad the writing was for the Snake Eyes character. I'm not pinning this on Henry Golding at all. I don't think Hollywood's going to either, because I think the rest of us kind of smelled the dog that that character was in this movie, and I don't think anybody's going, Henry Golding.
But
Nah.
sometimes I
He's
think
not
with
Channing Tatum sleepwalking through the Duke
Yeah.
role.
You know who he really was playing. I mean, let's really boil it down. And I know you've been waiting for this, Mike. He wasn't playing Snake Eyes the whole movie. He was really playing Black Dragon from G.I. Joe Extreme.
Oh.
Extreme! Extreme! He
Am I
really
good?
was playing Black Dragon.
I think you just baited me into screaming extreme
Yeah,
at 10:20 at night in a Newark hotel.
Hashtag release the Extreme. That's who he was playing. A ninja badass who was sassy and talked smart and charming and was, and showed his face all the time. Yeah, this was a backdoor G.I. Joe Extreme pilot. Let's be real.
That's deep cut, but I like it.
Yeah, it's exactly what this was.
I think
Joe
sometimes
Slepski on brand.
Extreme!
Sometimes with those really iconic roles, comic book role-ish, when they finally cast them in Hollywood, sometimes it's better when they go with an actor you don't really know, right?
Right.
How good was it that we had no idea who Hugh Jackman was when he showed up as Wolverine? That Henry Cavill wasn't really well known when he showed up as Superman. And that's why I think Ben Affleck could never succeed as Batman, because he was never going to be Batman to me. He was always going to be Ben Affleck. And on a smaller level, I think we tasted some of that here with Golding as Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
So to go around the G.I. Joe world, or at least as it relates to us, Racktime Rob went C+ on Snake Eyes. Dave Draper.
He's right, by the way.
Dave Draper from Toy World Order. He went C-, and that's got a little asterisk by it. He would have given it a D had Baroness not been as hot as she was. That was the thought there. Carson from 3D Joe's, our former co-host, went B+. Carson went strong. He enjoyed the movie. Noted author James Kavanaugh, F.
Whoa. Strong.
And believe me, that was I asked James for a letter grade. I posed you guys the same question because I didn't want to talk about it with you before we talked about it here.
All right.
And I do the same thing with these guys. Like, if I could, I don't want to talk about the movie because I don't want to be influenced by what you have to say. But if you give me a letter grade, what would it be? James went F, and then came the rant because he just had to let it out. I didn't read it. I was just like, damn, James, you're angry about this one. And finally, Phil Donnelly of Articulated Points, who is rumored to be Biff McHonky-Dunk, gave it a solid B. So that's
a kinder man than me.
From our extended circle of folks there. That's what we got. Joe Colton only saw the movie today, so I didn't have a chance to get any input from her because I got stuff I got to do.
All valid.
So we'll find out. We'll get a letter grade from her next.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun ninja movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
It is. It's a fun action movie. I've certainly seen a lot worse. There were some elements to the cinematography that I really, really dug into the design, like the use of the neon, the credit scene, like when the stuff with the drumming and like all that stuff was exciting, but it disappears for 90% of the movie. Like I wanted more of that stuff, more of that kind of stylization to the movie.
Yeah,
I think that would have really helped.
The ninja compound scenes that were beautifully shot.
Oh, beautiful!
When
Absolutely.
they're in Tokyo, that it felt very authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes when you're in a foreign place, it's just a bunch of stuff thrown around a soundstage. But this was not that. They took great pains to make sure that looked like a back alley in Tokyo kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things to like in this movie, and unfortunately, it just doesn't make a coherent, satisfying movie.
Yeah,
I know somebody who gave it an A for amazing.
And so the question that we have here is actually what I was coming to next from Action Figure Expert. So what do you guys put first, second, third between Rise of Cobra, Retaliation, and Snake Eyes? How are you ranking these up, Joe Slepski?
The best being Retaliation, the second being Snake Eyes, the third being Rise of Cobra.
Mark Weber?
I mean, there's so much wrong with Rise of Cobra, but they didn't get any of the characters dead wrong. So I put Snake Eyes at the bottom. If you completely get Snake Eyes wrong,
They gave him
Snake
lips.
Eyes,
Mark, they gave him lips.
yeah, but he didn't talk.
It's true. No, worse. He's on a vow of silence. Even worse than not talking. He was choosing to have a vow of silence, which again shows whoever's in charge of this knows absolutely they don't know what they're doing.
But he didn't steal anything or betray anybody.
Wait, hold on. He stole breakfast.
I'll take Heart of Gold.
As a child, he stole breakfast
with mask lips over.
I am going to run the same as Joe does. I am going retaliation first. Yeah, because frankly, my benchmark for GI Joe movies, ninjas fighting on a mountainside.
That's a great scene. And
a great scene.
And The Rock it's hard to deny The Rock.
It is.
I mean, he's awesome.
He was there to lift retaliation. He was there to put the nails in the coffin on Snake Eyes.
If you're a G.I. Joe fan and you didn't get goosebumps when they had the hallway face-off between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. So,
well, ask the man himself. Snake Eyes declassified, C- for me. Well, there you go. From Snake Eyes himself. But that brings us to the end of our What's on Joe Mind, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins movie coverage. We need a couple weeks to recover. I'm sure that it'll be just like the other ones where we didn't feel so good for a while and then slowly we came back around. I guess the last question that I want to leave us with, and we've touched on this the last couple of weeks. Mark, what does this mean for the franchise? You're a guy who used to run this franchise. What does this mean?
I think when you look at it from a pure toy perspective, the fact that it got moved up by Paramount and Hasbro could not get the figures on shelf in time, so you didn't have it in stores. And I went to a couple stores this week. I mean, it's really Walmart and Target now. I've never seen a more devastated toy aisle than what we're seeing right now. So obviously there's shipping issues and some China issues here. Or Vietnam issues, depending on where they're actually getting made. But the idea that the only people who bought this stuff are the diehard collectors who pre-ordered it months ago when it was first shown. There's no walk-up fans, and there's no walk-up product to buy.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten mine.
This is going to... I hope they didn't overproduce it, because this is going to tank at retail like crazy. And it's a bit of a redo of Retaliation, that because of the wait, the year-long wait to get it to shelves, caused it not to have collector pounce, because the collectors already bought it a year before, and having it sit in their DCs and frustrate Walmart, Target, and at the time Toys R Us, and then to not have it sell like gangbusters the first couple weeks, like every movie product does, is what doomed G.I. Joe at retail. And so this is going to be a bit of a hard sell to be able to say to Walmart and Target, look, we know the Snake Eyes movie stuff didn't move for you, but the classified stuff has sold extremely well for the last year and a half. Yeah. So the movie didn't do what we wanted. They'll blame it on COVID, which is not, there is some validity to that, but it wasn't COVID that sank this movie. It was the mischaracterization of the lead character, and they'll need to be able to pivot off of that. And I can't imagine Paramount on a movie that cost $88 million to make, and at least that in advertising, is going to be real gung-ho, pun intended, about making another film. So if you're Hasbro, you have to pivot away from this and say, COVID sank the movie and it gave us no chance to connect with the mainstream audience. But the collector base is substantial, and they are valid and viable. And we'll be back to classified figures and the retro line before you know it. And I didn't really get away from it and say, don't abandon G.I. Joe because it is a viable collector-driven brand.
Mark, what do you think this does for the viability of the proposed Lady J show?
I mean, a Netflix adult-themed or at least adult-ish show, or is it Netflix or is it somewhere else? I forget.
Amazon.
Amazon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're not counting on that to sell action figures. So I don't think it kills it. It might dim it a little bit, but if that's supposed to be like the new Alias, then this movie not working doesn't kill it. But I think what it might bring into question is the animation, right? That we heard about for 2022, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was supposed to have 2 seasons, but I think they thought they'd be bringing in a whole bunch of new young G.I. Joe fans that this film is not creating. So, and like I said before, if you truly believed in this franchise and they had plenty of time to work on it because this got delayed enough, you would have had animation coming right out of the movie.
Yeah.
And even with the original street date, even the original street date of the fall didn't have this animation coming right out of it. So even if it's early 2022, it's not quite the same thing.
Any truth to the rumor that they delayed the release of Snake Eyes the movie not because of COVID, but in order to coincide with the release of Snake Eyes Dead Game number 5?
It was about the same quality.
Ooh. That's a cheap shot. Cheap shot.
A lot more feet in the movie though. Clearly shown feet in the movie.
But real quick, let's get to the news, and there is not a ton of it. But first off is going to be the box office receipts from the week ending August 1. The winner last weekend at the box office was Jungle Cruise, which was new, $35 million. Number 2, Old, in its second week, held on fairly strong, made $6.9 million. Third place was The Green Knight, which I don't even know what that is, but it was new.
I'm excited to see that movie.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like old school
$1
Excalibur fantasy stuff. I really want to see that.
In fourth place, Black Widow, in its fourth week, went $6.5 million. In fifth place, Stillwater, which is new, went $5.2 million. So Snake Eyes slid out of the top 5. Oh, wait, no, it actually slid out of the top 6. Space Jam 2, in its third week, went $4.3 million. And then in seventh place, finally, we get to Snake Eyes in its second week. Lost 70% of its gate from the first week and checked in at almost $4.1 million. That is a tough fall. And that does put Snake Eyes. We got problems. There's a bomb there. And there it goes. There.
Yeah.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I mean, and you saw this all the time, all those ads this week saying the number 7 movie in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hurry and go see it because it won't be in theaters much longer.
That's it.
Yeah.
Limited time engagement.
Oh, there's your problem right there. It's Firefly.
Oh, it's
Firefly
the Saboteur.
That damn Firefly.
Man, that's terrible.
They were gonna write him into this movie as kind of a guy who likes kooky hijinks and makes balloon animals.
Well, so there in that motorcycle scene, there's one dude who's on that trailing motorcycle who's got crazy feathers or stuff sticking out of him. That had to be somebody that they ended up cutting out of the movie. But all it does is confuse me because it's nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Buddy.
It's shocking. And I don't understand how you don't see that and then just go, well, maybe we either just reshoot that. I don't know, something. But it was that character, whoever that actor is so stylized that it stands out to be somebody special. And then it's nothing and Snake Eyes just murders somebody and adds to the confusion of who's fighting who in the scene.
Well, and when they brought them back for reshoots to get the camera shakier, you would have thought they would have, made
Not
it
shaky enough.
as you can see, those stats are from boxofficemojo.com. So I don't have a total for you to this point, but
I like that you put the footnote on your stream slide to make sure we trust you with those stats. I like that.
sure, why would we not?
It's legit.
I'm not going out and doing this counting myself.
I wish it was Raptor. If it was Raptor, if you just saw a dude show up at the end with a giant bird of prey and was like, wow, all of a sudden I'm intrigued.
I'll do your taxes.
Yeah.
That brings us to our
Late filing. Oh, nice.
Marauder Task Force Vietnam is still out there. It's funded. Their campaign ends on August 14th at 11:30 p.m., which means they got about a week to go. And I'll pull up the numbers right here. Again, 8 days left. Their goal was $64,000, and they are currently at $320,680. So, yeah, if you back this project, it's going to get made. You can back without fear.
At one point, that's going to surpass the Snake Eyes box office.
Yeah, they've funded something like 15 stretch goals, so you got lots of options. Marauder Task Force is a fantastic product if you're into 3 3/4, 4-inch figures, both in terms of the figures and the guns. Just great quality on both. You cannot go wrong if you're pledging Marauder Task Force. They are the stuff.
Yep.
Similarly, Strike Force Alpha is that new project. Also, in the 3 3/4, 4-inch scale, more of a G.I. Joe style motif.
O-ring.
O-ring styled. It is not O-ring.
Well, O-ring-ish. Sorry.
Exactly. They're O-ring-ish. It's our friends Call Sign Longbow. They're doing O-rings, but they're not out there.
There we go. That's cool that they're all slightly different, right? While still all kind of baked from the G.I. Joe oven.
They are also funded. Their campaign ends a bit sooner. That is at August 8th at about 1 in the morning. So essentially, you've got the rest of the night tonight and all day tomorrow to pledge. That is funded. Their goal of $77,000 has been met. They are currently sitting at $98,274. So they have a good amount there, and you can head on over to Kickstarter and type in Strike Force Alpha and see what they've got available on their Kickstarter thing as well. Again, looks great. They've got Bill Merkline doing one of their sculpts, and so looks like an interesting project there. William J. with the rim shot. Looks like no ring.
Yeah, there you go.
That was pretty good.
Oh.
That was pretty
William, I apologize. You didn't make you got stuck on the cutting room floor.
Sometimes you set the ball on the tee, and the batter just knocks it out of the park.
Right. Stuck on the cutting room floor on that Gem City project. It's I screwed up the audio on your take there, so I apologize. That's on me. But that's it for the news. That's all we got on news. There's no actual G.I. Joe news this week. Just a quick Kickstarter roundup.
And good for them. I'm glad all those guys got their stuff funded, and they're doing great work, all of them.
Absolutely. Joe Slepski.
Yeah.
You got any? What'd you get in this week?
Actually, today my Snake Eyes bobblehead, the new Funko, showed up in Amazon today.
And here I am bobbling.
Yeah, and last night randomly I was I don't drink, but often I'm up late with my iPad on eBay buying things and forgetting that I buy them.
Hey, nice problem to have.
So last night I bought a dollar store Storm Shadow, the orange one, and I bought a Operation Trojan Gambit. So I'm looking forward to getting those.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mark Weber, what'd you get in?
I'm not at home, so I don't have anything. I like to show it off when I can. But something I bought this week, which is kind of ironic because I just, stomped all over the movie. But I have theatrical posters for Raja Cobra and Retaliation. The nice double-sided, put up in a light box display kind of thing. Nice. And so I went, the posters aren't bad. They're better than the movie. So I landed a Snake Eyes theatrical poster on a pretty cheap eBay win this week. So and got that in, and it's in good shape. So someday when I have the room to put it in, maybe I'll have all 3 posters framed and up nice. So, but it was something I kind of wanted, and I got it at a good price. So that's a win.
All right. And for me, what I got in, this is a couple of weeks ago. I've talked about him, but we moved, so I didn't have him to show off. But Beachhead number 22 showed up, and
Very
he
nice.
is complete. He's got his little ammo bag. He's pretty pristine. Joints are nice and tight, and the paint's okay. It's got a couple of little scuffs in a few spaces. It's not one of the best 2 or 3, but it's in that next group after that.
Nice.
And literally just a couple days ago, number 23 showed up. So he's got no gear, but he's a really nice figure.
What's your goal? As many as possible, or do you have do you want to get 50?
Oh, I don't know. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. At this point, it's all I'm actively collecting outside of classified.
Nice.
So we'll know when we get there.
I think it's cool that Mike refers to it as Beach Party 86, but once you get to 86, can you stop?
No. Why would I stop at 86?
I think it's smart. I think it's smart to build up your army to fight Joe Colton's Red Ninjas off.
I would need at least 700 for that, wouldn't I?
Well,
I mean, I'd need a lot more than 86.
They need to send them in. Go to the Ko-fi page and support the Beachhead Accumulation Fund.
That is not what that is for. It's not what the Ko-fi page is for. The coffee page is not for Beachhead accumulation. That is not going. That is for show expenses.
We're gonna get Alanis Morissette in here singing something sad to help fund the Beachhead Accumulation Fund.
That's not Alanis Morissette. That's
who is it?
Sarah McLachlan.
I can't get her, but I got an in with Morissette. So
all right, fair enough. But yeah, we pay for StreamYard with coffee. We pay for Podbean with coffee. Like that's what keeps everything rolling out at a decent high production value. That's what the coffee is for. It's purely expenses, that is not for Beach Party 86. Beach Party 86 is out of my pocket.
I apologize then because I've been using it wrong.
Oh God, you're killing us. You're killing us, Honcho. You're supposed to be the one with some kind of distinguishedness.
I'm the king of Newark, man. I'll do what I want.
That's true. That's fair enough. The king of Newark does what he pleases.
The many kings of Newark.
That's true.
How many guys you have to chest bump to get into the hotel room today?
You know what? It was kind of a shaky high five actually, but it's cool.
A shaky high five. Oh Lord.
We drove by the stadium, and I said, Derek, that's where the Giants play and the Jets lose.
That's where the Giants lose too. Really, they're not.
That's true. I guess that's true.
They're not that good. So, anyways, shout outs. Joe Slepski, who we shouting out to?
Toilet Teal. Big shout out to Toilet Teal for always supporting me and being a trooper with all the Snake Eyes Michigas.
For all of the folks who just tuned in the last 20 minutes, who's Toilet Teal?
Toilet Teal's my wife, Rebecca. She's a frequent guest on my show, and she puts up with all this stuff. I bought a frame for the Snake Eyes poster. I didn't put. I also have no space to put stuff up yet, and she saw me framing it, and I just looked at her. I said, "For when we get a bigger place."
And where can we find the Joe on Joe podcast?
You can find the Joe on Joe podcast on any podcatcher, wherever you get your pods. You can also find me on socials at Joe on Joe Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Easy to reach. Say hello. Give me a listen. Tell your friends. Been doing some fun stuff. Been doing a lot of illustrated episodes. We did a nice, fun Dead Game review in the style of the great, legendary Bob Newhart. Yeah, this is good. It's a fun episode. I got some good. My listeners seem to enjoy it. So.
You should have got DePriest on that Bob Newhart episode.
Yeah, I didn't put. I got some good
You could have been your other brother Daryl.
Oh yeah, right.
But you get the podcatchers that we have down linked below. If you go to any of them and just type
Joe and Joe podcast, you can find me. Yeah, it's out there.
Anybody else? Anybody else, Joe? Any other shout outs?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
That's
all I got. Shout out to all the listeners. Everyone's awesome. We'll be at that SoCal Joe show. So say hi. Walking around.
There you go. King of Newark, who we shouting out to?
I mean, it's got to be the King's Court. Like the fact that we drove from Rhode Island to New Jersey as fast as we could. Got in the hotel. My head of tech, the lovely Mrs. Weber, got me set up and online, so I was barely late. I was actually on time, Joe Colton time. But for the kids and Mrs. Weber, who were like, well, just run down the hotel pool. You can do your podcast. It'll be fine. To find out the pool is closed.
Awesome.
So they have been really good sports while I fulfilled my podcast.
So they're sitting in the room with you?
Yeah, they're. If I look over my shoulder, they're all tapping their watch. Like, really? So
you're not going to hand the camera over?
No. And they're right. So for them playing along, because I really wanted to be on the podcast tonight. So I appreciate them enabling me.
We appreciate them too. My goodness, I had no idea this was a family affair tonight.
Oh yeah, they're all here. They're just barely contained. They're going to talk a lot once I hang up.
Thank God for phones, right?
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
But my shout outs, of course, if you're tuning in and watching us live on the stream tonight, you got a shout out there. If you are catching us on recording, we love you too. Shout us out. By all means, remember to like our video down below, share us on your social media, and of course, most of you are real good about this, but go ahead and subscribe and enable notifications, and all the stuff that we do on a regular basis. You can find us on Facebook at WOJM What's on Joe Mind, on Twitter at WOJM Podcast, at What's on Joe Mind on Instagram, and of course, you're on our YouTube channel. All the links are down there below. You can also, Mark's already brought up our coffee account. I don't have the swear jar. I didn't figure I needed it tonight because Joe Colton is on assignment.
We were good.
Yeah, we were fine. We were all right. We generally are when we're generally swear free when Joe Colton's not around. Give a shout out to Racktime Rob, the unsung hero and fourth man of the operation here at What's on Joe Mind.
Oli
the Rock. Give a shout out to our sponsors at Kokomo Toys. We'll very quickly sing the theme song, Kokomo Toys. Kokomo
Toys.
Did the family sing along?
No, but they're like, what's going on?
Transformers and GoBots. Ooh, I want to buy ya. Isn't that how it goes?
Something
Pretty
like
much.
that.
Yeah. There's more there, but I just
got to get that down, man.
I just thought of that. Listen, I just had 10 seconds to think of it.
Let's be honest, though. I thought it was
pretty good.
Ain't nobody buying GoBots.
You'd be surprised, man. Pricey.
And Barbie and Funko. Come on.
Like all
that's not going to be in your head now for the rest of the night.
Pricey. Although this guy was cheap because he didn't have anything. So, but anyways, about wraps us up for one more week on What's on Joe Mind. Wow, I'm getting tired now.
We're out of gas.
We are still in the What's on Joe Mind podcast. And we're getting wrapped up one more time, but let me continue to throw out our message that we've been repeating ad nauseum. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. Please go out, get yourself vaccinated, not once but twice. Just do it for your neighbors, do it for your family, do it for the folks that really have a lot to lose, like their lives.
Yep.
And all this, and let's just get this done so we can all go back to meeting and greeting one another at shows, and not having to wear masks, even if they are stylish Joe on Joe podcast masks.
Yes. So good.
And please just get that done. It's free, it's harmless, and it will protect you from the deadliest disease that we have encountered in our lifetime. But for my co-host Mark Weber, for our guest host Joe Slepski, I'm Mike Irizarry. Be sure to join us next Friday on the What's on Joe Mind TeamStream. Everybody have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. All that other good stuff. Hit the button. Hit the button, Honcho.